Hey everyone, it's me, Master Walrus 9, back again with another episode of Walrus's TCG Dailies. I hope you're having a beautiful day. So I will admit, I did make a slight mistake. I did do today's dailies. I saw that I was running a bit low on time with ranked. I want to do some some battles to get caught up, to push me to Great League, so I could showcase an interesting video, trying out a deck. And the time rolled over, didn't even realize, and yeah. So unfortunately, no dailies, but I will be able to showcase a neat deck I like with you guys, and hopefully you enjoy it. Please let me know what you think of that intro. I made a intro and outro to try out, and I'm also going to try something new. I'm going to put some music into the background that's not the TCG live music. So if you enjoy it, or have any comments, any suggestions on what I can do to improve, please let me know. Your input's always going to be nice. So let's take a look at what this deck I want to showcase is. I call it Mewtwo and his Master. So what it is a deck that is focused on the Mewtwo cards. So Mewtwo is a card that has a lot of different variations. I only have one copy of the EX that I'm running, so hopefully that works out well enough. But I'm also pairing with the V and V-Star for heavy hitters. Now the V-Star has a move called Psy Purge. It's going to do 90 damage times the amount of psychic energy you discard from all your Pokemon. So you can hit a maximum of 270, which is pretty good in today's meta. There's also the Terra-type Mewtwo EX, which is going to do 10 damage for 2 psychic energy, but for each psychic energy attached to all of your Pokemon, you do an additional 30. So the Mewtwo alone is going to be doing 70. You might be thinking, Walrus, these cards are alright, but they're not great, especially in a dark meta with the effects of Roaring Moon EX. Well, there's two ways we can get around that. I set up some heavy damage Pokemon in Lunatone and Solrock. These were a set of Pokemon that were released in Pokemon Go that features an interesting combination. Once during your turn, you may attach a psychic energy from your discard pile to one of your Lunatone. This is a soft once per turn, so if you have 2 Solrock, 3 Solrock on the bench, you can do that as many times per turn as you have Solrock on the bench. Lunatone has a decent move as well. It's 30 plus 30 for each psychic energy attached to it. So it's going to require 3 energy at the minimum. And since we're running mono psychic for the most part, we're going to be hitting for a 120 on hit. I have 12 energies, so we have a maximum of 390 damage that this Lunatone can do. I'm pairing up with 2 Mewtwo generic cards, non-rule box. I want to call them basics, but in TCG Live, in the Pokemon TCG, there's a difference between basics and non-rule box. Anyhow, there's this Mewtwo for 3 psychic energy, or because we're running mono psychic, you do 90 damage. If your opponent has 3 or fewer prize cards remaining, this attack is going to do 90 more damage. This would be a nice thing to set up in the late game, but honestly, it's not needed. I honestly just put it in because it's Mewtwo themed. I thought the art was cool. And the first move's not bad. Attach 2 psychic energies from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. So it can work out well enough. This Mewtwo from 151 though is where I want to be working. Reflexive Barrier. 2 colorless energy, 20 damage. During your opponent's next turn, if this Pokemon is damaged by an attack, put damage counters on this Pokemon equal to the damage done to this Pokemon. And so you're thinking, 20 damage? And that effect's a bit wonky. Well, let's take a look at what Roaring Moon has to do. Roaring Moon has 2 options. Roaring Moon can either do effect damage or direct damage. For if he does effect damage, he's going to deal 200 to himself. If he does direct damage, he's also going to do 200 to himself. We're going to get the nice tasty 20 damage out on top of that as well, which is going to really be able to allow us to finish it with pretty much anything we want. So honestly, the Roaring Moon is put into a tricky spot, and I could pair it up with some decent tools to amplify this effect as well. such as Rocky Helmet or the Punch Box, I think is what it's called. Finishing up my deck roundup, I'm running Radiant Greninja to allow Psychic Energies to put into trash and draw some more cards, and Lunatone from Obsidian Flames. I'm only running a single one, but it's going to allow us to prevent any effects of Stadium done to your Pokemon if we have a Solrock in play. Well, since we're going to have Solrocks in play, this Lunatone's going to work out nicely. And it doesn't have to be this Lunatone. This is going to be our primary attacker, but this Lunatone is just a nice option as well. Taking a look at the stadiums and trainers and tools and whatnot, I kind of just threw some stuff together. I used a Pokestop core, which is going to focus on items. So no supporters, no tools. And so we have a lot of good items, in my opinion. We have Pokegear 3.0 to search out supporters, Palpad to recycle supporters, Fog Crystal and Nest Ball to search out our Psychic Energy and basic Psychic Pokemon, and Mewtwo EX. We got Hisuian Heavy Ball in order to deal with the Pokemon in the prize cards. Trekking Shoes allows us to cycle faster. Rescue Carrier allows us to pull back in Solrocks and Lunatones into our hand, and we're our primary energy form, I guess, our primary core. They're a lot more important. We have Clara for the Mewtwo. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing really much to say. Of course, there's some variation that might be wanted, such as Super Rods. But if this is a deck I kind of just threw together, and I want to see how well it does. Now, I did take a game with it earlier, but I can't remember what the game was. It was a weird matchup. I believe he had a Raikou and a Calyrex Ice Rider and Pachirisu. It was some weird deck. So, we're fighting against Hiriko 1031. They are 57. So, I want to say they're gonna be doing all right. The Lechonk coin, nice, but unsure on what to expect. Lechonk sleeves, if it's a Lechonk deck, that'd be pretty cool. I'm gonna set up this Mewtwo V and the Solrock. Now, there's a lot of options where you don't want discard stuff. You could probably want to run Earthen Vessels. You might want to run some Ultra Balls just to discard Psychic Energy. Regigigas. So it looks like we're facing against a Regibox deck. Regibox is always one of my favorite decks, so I'm glad to see it. But ultimately, it's dependent on how we can see it. Regibox got immensely, and I mean immensely nerfed in the rotation split. Okay, so whiff on the Pokegear, unfortunate. We're gonna concealed cards. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I can be happy with that. I want to set up a Psychic Energy on this Mewtwo, and we'll ramp up one on the Lunatone. Just end turn. See, when you had Aurora Energy, it worked either playing it by the hand or with the Regigigas. Regibox had a lot of good options. But now, since Aurora Energy is out, you have to use, I think it's Rainbow Energy. And Rainbow Energy does not work with other special energies. That's a good energy, but it doesn't work with other special energies. And where Regibox is focused on special energies, it doesn't work. And you can't use the Reversal Energy because these aren't evolved Pokemon. So it doesn't work on that end either. So I got Freeders. Okay, he sets up a Gift Energy and Research. I mean, the other option is just to hit with Gigas by himself, but that's not a solid option in its own right. Heavy Ball. So we hit with a Lunatone, double Psychic, our Mewtwo V-Stars there, Getsy's and Boss's Orders, and a second Heavy Ball. So not terrible. This is good information to know. We're just gonna have to end turn. Ideally, we could pull like the Pokegear 3.0 again, or a Pokestop. Researches, okay, interesting. So they do run a lot more basic energy, which is interesting to think about, because you're losing out positions to where you have to put more energy into your deck than the tools and trainers that allowed the deck to shine. So switch card up to Drago. Puts down a fighting energy. Okay. Nest Ball is not a terrible hit. I'll set up this Mewtwo. The nice thing is they do a lot of damage, and so if you really wanted to, you could just set up the Mewtwo to where they'll knock himself out. Okay, it runs to Pokegear. Just been whiffing on the draws. I mean, that's a bit of a problem with this deck, where I have 12 energy. I've gone through 2, I have 8 energy left in my deck. You think I would pull it sooner than later. Yeah, give each other the, I don't know what's going on right here. I'm running 4 Ionos and a Serena, so I have supporters to reshuffle my hand to draw. They pulled a Registeel. Okay. Dig it. I'm a fan of Registeel. I think Registeel is a decent Pokemon. If it was Yu-Gi-Oh! Rules where you could attach items and tools to your opponent's Pokemon, then you could definitely get some interesting aspects with this. It does 50 less reach retreat in your opponent's active slot. He's got the full box. He escape ropes. It's hard to tell what I want to do, but we're just gonna sack the Lunatone. We have a second one in hand. We have 2 rescue carriers and a Clara. It's a tough tell on where I really want to go. So he goes to Regidrago. He's super rods. Yep. He's got a Dragon's Horde. Now, Dragon Horde's a neat ability where it allows him to draw 4, but it's only if the Regidrago's in the active slot. I personally ran this deck in real life when it was in its prime. Super big fan. I think he thought that okay. I was gonna say, I think he thought the fighting energy was a fire energy. Not the case. Unfortunate. Hard to tell where I want to switch up to. We'll go Solrock. We'll set up the Lunatone. We're gonna Fog Crystal. And we're gonna pick up another Psychic Energy. Because this is gonna allow us to draw 2 with concealed cards. V-Star's not bad. And we're just gonna Iono. Some switches wouldn't be terrible. Maybe like a Beach Court wouldn't be a bad idea in here. Yeah. Yeah, we'll Trekking Shoes. Serena. That's an interesting question. Do I Serena? I'm gonna say no. Fog Crystal's not bad. We'll thin the deck out right now. Draw another. And we're gonna Sun Energy. Just end turn. Now our Mewtwo V-Star is primed up for next turn. Earthen Vessel, that's pretty good. Allows you to discard some energy and pull up more energy to discard. You have like an Ultra Ball or something that's... Earthen Vessel's been a really good hit. They always say your prize cards or your discard pile in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is your second deck. And that's pretty much true in most games if you build the right deck. Now, our issue is going to be the Regigigas. If we can shut down Regigigas, we're in a good place. And there's a lot of options to shut him down. It's just not happening in this deck. Terra Spark's going to allow him to do 40. Okay. Yeah, must have not realized Terror doesn't affect. Let's see. Who do I want to move up? We're weak to dark, but he's got no dark hitters, and he's not going to be able to one-tap. So we're just going to... Basic Psychic Energy Dare. Solrock. Might as well burn a Rescue Carrier right now. Pull up the Solrock, the Lunatone. Will Yono shorten down his hand. Okay. Sun Energy. And Concealed Cards. Honestly, decent enough spot. I don't want to Pokestop right now. Regibox can run Pokestop fairly decently. And so that'll be giving him a good stadium. What we're going to do is we're just going to discard 2 Psychic Energies for the Lunatone. There's a lot of different mechanics you can work out with this deck. You can run an energy switch in order to keep your energies more consistent. Ramp out extra energy. By running stuff like the Mewtwo EX and the Mewtwo here, I'm shutting down open slots for the Solrock. If something gets knocked out, I'm probably just going to leave it to set up another Solrock. It's going to be more necessary for the Lunatone. So I could consider running something like Penny, which is going to be picking up basic Pokemon, or maybe Professor Turo. Because we can really deal with the stuff going into the trash. See, there's the Pokestop. They run it themselves a lot. You see a lot of recycling, and so... Because you need it for those who are uninitiated with Regibox, if you have one of each Regi onto the bench, an active slot, like they do right now, you're able to move free energy from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. So our Mewtwo V-Star is in a tricky place. Not great. What we're gonna do is... I don't know if I want to feed him. We're in a tricky place. We're in a rough spot. Sun Energy. You really can't... Yeah, we can't do anything. We can't. I want to keep the hand flush. So I'm getting Yono. Because I'm not really crazy on anything in there. Second Solrock's not bad. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to... They got game. They really do have game. My deck can't compete with the speed at this point. We'll take off here and here. And I'm going over. I'm going way too much on these energy. See, I need to hit 130. I need to discard 2 energy instead of the 1 energy. So it's their HP pool's just right. Xenia's Resolve's a good card for that kind of deck. De-evolution's interesting. Yep, set up another Regidrago. I'm trying to control their hand as much as possible. It's just not hitting. Just not working. The Regieleki really is one of the better hits because you're going to be able to ping your opponent on the bench and that can hurt. Now, he's got the game before it's going to matter as much, but if we had boss's orders, and I know I just tossed it, but if I had the boss's orders, then I would have been able to pull up the Gigas because Gigas is the threat. We're going to be able to hit back with whatever's here. Okay. This deck, Solrock box, had some potential, and I don't think I'm utilizing it as much. I want to be big and flashy and showcase what it can do, and I'm not maximizing the potential. We'll Pal Pad. Recycle anything into trash. Couple of Yonos. What's Trekking Shoes? Pokestop? No, we don't really need that. Rescue Carrier is not terrible. We'll just hit with Reflexive Barrier. And now his Regielekki's gonna get knocked out, but he's gonna do a lot of good damage to us. Now, we survived this, strangely enough. I never intend on Mewtwo surviving. But if he attacks with Regielekki, Mewtwo survives. Super Rod. One thing about Regibox is that it does turbo. It turbos very hard. And so you see they were at 3 cards at that point. So if you can force them to discard cards, mill them a bit, then it works out. But it's not a reliant strategy. Yeah. I'll be honest, I was not anticipating Regibox. And Regibox does have its weakness. Since the box is full, you can't set up cards like Jirachi or Manaphy to protect. Sure. Let's Pokestop. Okay. Miss on the boss's orders. Quite unfortunate. Well, Radiant Greninja. Okay. This has honestly been quite misfortunate. Sure. Sun Energy once more. And the question is, what do I want to do? Do I want to attach a Psychic Energy? We might... might as well attach it there, because honestly, we got the game's done. As long as he has a means of getting the Regielekki, which with 12 cards in hand, he most certainly does. Ultra Ball, see right there. Yep. Now all he has to do is set up the Regielekki, switch back out. He's gonna be able to, yep, he's gonna be able to hit the Solrock, which is going to grant him a game. Now, we could potentially have forced a tie in this situation, but it's just not happening. And again, Regibox was decent as a rogue deck at its time, but there's ways to counter it out. It's super susceptible to ping. If I use my electric ping deck, it probably would not be good. A good situation. If you're able to shut down the Regigigas's primary ability, then you shut down the deck. So, good on for them. You know, I can highly appreciate the move. Running a deck like that it's not seen. Talking about ping, I'm just gonna make a quick adjustment. I'll fix this later, but during a deck I played against a Spinda, and this Spinda had quite the interesting move. It does 10 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. I'm adding a copy into here just to get the ping ready for Zapdos. And I have another deck. Where was it? This guy right here. This is one I'm going to showcase at a later time. But these are 2 decks that focus on ping. Yeah. So I want a little sneak peek at what to expect. I do really want to bring back the whatever it's called, the done with Roaring Moon. I think ping decks are super interesting and can definitely have some shock if you're playing against a box deck, since box doesn't have the HP to handle against ping. Ping doesn't have the damage output to deal with VMAX, V-Star, EX, give too much prize cards to deal with box. So there's a lot of different interesting rock, paper, scissors scenarios you can come into, which is super fun about the TCG Live. Just figuring out which deck is the best. And that's something you're not going to get because there is no objectively best deck. So we're playing against an electric deck. I think they just released a new League Battle deck focused on Raikou. Not Raikou. Oh, shoot. What is it? Miraidon EX, Regieleki VMAX, and some other third thing. Zero Aura. I see it on here a bit. Haven't seen it in a hot minute, but I do see it on occasion. We'll set up this Mewtwo. And we're in a pretty prime position. I honestly can't argue. Raichu V. Raichu V does the exact same thing that Mewtwo V-Star does. I think at less damage though, but no limits. Yeah. So Raichu V isn't not bad. I see a lot more Squawkabilly as an option. And Squawkabilly is interesting because it has a glaring weakness, but if you take it out, it's 2 prize cards. But being able to get that draw is nice. So I could consider seeing cards like Penny more usable. Especially in electric decks where you want to get your electric generators and electric ramp out fast. I mean, look, they've already run through half their deck. They've had a boss's orders and a couple electric generators, but the Raichu is gonna be a problem. Half to the peak is unfortunate. It's gonna shut down our Greninja. We fortunately have Pokestop to counter it. But we gotta get in there, is the thing. I'm gonna attach a Psychic Energy to the Mewtwo. And since we have the Lunatone, if we get a Solrock, we do shut down Path to the Peak. We'll set up the Mewtwo. More than not, we are gonna need the Greninja. But the Greninja does nothing at the moment. So more optimally, we're gonna take Solrock. But do we take the Greninja? See, this is the tricky part. And I'm gonna take Greninja because it's more likely we hit a Solrock. Grab a Psychic Energy just to have it in hand. And we're gonna end turn. We can't really do anything. If we had a second Nest Ball, we would be talking. I don't anticipate using this Lunatone as much as I want to. Like, I was not anticipating this situation. It's more a pocket card in case something comes up like Path to the Peak. I think what I'm going to do is after this, I'm going to take out some cards. I could probably reduce the Lunatone and Solrock into by 1. Reduce the other Mewtwo. I like Reflexive Barrier, but I don't think the other Mewtwo is necessary. I'm going to keep the Terramax or the Terra type EX because it's got some potential. Okay, so this is a good hit. We're going to open up with concealed cards. Basic Psychic Trekking Shoes, not bad. We'll Pokestop. Double into Trekking Shoes, Psychic Energy. You really can't get a better hit than that. We're going to want Boss's Orders. We don't really need Serena at this point. It's not bad card. I just don't think we need it, especially with the Pal Pad in hand. Fog Crystal's going to be a no compared to the Nest Ball that I was fishing for. So we're going to full up the Solrock. We're able to start stacking on some Psychic Energy onto the Lunatone. And now I'm scared of boss's orders. I am. Yeah, shoot. I think I need to go heavy investment, right? We're going to retreat with this Lunatone right here into the Mewtwo. We're done getting boss's orders up the Raichu, and we're just going to discard all three. Now I'm going to check what's in my trash. I'm going to Pal Pad and orders in the Serena. Since they're running V Pokemon, Serena's essentially going to work as another boss's orders, which is super nice. But yeah, we're just going to discard everything in order to knock out the Raichu. We're going to have to discard everything to knock out the other Raichu, so we might as well take out the one that has investment. This is going to set them back. Yeah, double energy, not terrible. And since we got the Solrock and the Lunatone, another Path to Peak isn't going to hurt us. They have to take out one, and Solrock would be the big hit in that situation, but that means that Mewtwo V-Star is not being targeted. What they move up, I'm uncertain. If they decide to move up the Raichu, they can't target it with Flappy. If they decide to move up the Squawkabilly, then that's a risky situation since Mewtwo can 2-tap it. We can even get a kill in with Lunatone if we postpone long enough. Zeraora really is the best option because Zeraora has no retreat cost. The question is, do they decide to go with that? They're taking a bit of time. Okay, they go from a Rhydon, and they might be trying to fish out a hit with Zeraora. Since it's going to be able to hit an evolution Pokemon, it's going to do 60, which isn't bad damage for 1 energy. But it's going to slow it down a bit. I mean, I would be trying to set up the Raichu in my... That would be what I'm doing. They got 8 cards in hand. They do have a lot of potential for something. But what they do, I'm uncertain. They're playing really slow. They're really thinking. They end turn. I don't know if they've disconnected, but that's really strange. So we're gonna Sun Energy, Lunatone, give him another one. Give the Mewtwo V-Star, Psychic Energy, Concealed cards. Psychic Energy, Pokegear 3.0, not bad hits. Pokestop, pretty good hits, Sometimes Pokestop, when it hits, it hits. We're gonna pull up another Psychic Energy, just thin the deck out a bit. I don't think we really need that Light Break Mewtwo that you just saw right there. We're gonna Pokegear, maybe we can pull up, we'll pull up Serena. And we're just gonna end turn. Because next turn, we'll be able to take out the Raichu. The situation is if they get a good state. And I think, honestly, this person's inactive at this point. They haven't been making any moves. Which is a shame. You know, I'd love to see this deck in action. I think this deck has a lot of good potential to do some interesting things. I like Electric. It's a really strong engine. Miraidon EX, Electric Generator, and you can pocket and Raichu V. If you want ping, you have ping. If you want damage buff, you have damage buff. I showcased 2 electric decks on my own. Yep, the opponent was inactive for too long. So I was looking to end off the video at this point, but I don't feel like that's the right way to end off a video. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do one more match. Win or lose, I want some action. Alright, we're playing against Yum Delicious Yum. They're 760 on the ladder. You know, pretty good for them. Climbing in Great League is tough due to the fact that every loss sets you back for a win. So if you're playing in normal league, you win, you gain 20 ladder points. You lose 10 ladder points. So if you win one, lose one, you're net 10, which is still positive. But in Great League, if you win, you gain 20. If you lose 20. So if you win one, lose one, you are net 0, which is neutral. So it's a lot trickier of a situation. And so you need to be playing good games and good decks to climb Great League. Or I'm just trying to showcase. That's not really happening as much, but I'm still happy with what I do. So we have to go first just to get the energies going. We got 12 energies in deck. We should be getting hits on the energies. I don't know why it's not popping up, but that's the game. It happens sometimes. They got the generic sleeves, which almost looks like they just made a deck. So I'm interested in to see what is happening. Okay, throw down door opener. You know, I never think much about these sleeves due to how often I see them, but they are good sleeves. The red, the blue, everything going on, it's pretty nice. So for an opener, we're playing Lost Box, which is a tricky deck to play against. We're going to start setting up our Mewtwo. That's going to be a lot more important. Basic Psychic Energy. Now, I could Pokegear 3.0 at this point. I'm not going to. Because, okay, double Iona, which is unfortunate. Nest Ball, Rescue Carrier, Fog Crystal, Trekking Shoes. Pretty good supporters and support in the prize cards. Or just have to make sure to get some. You might be thinking, if you want to Pokegear now or next turn. And the answer is going to be next turn if you're going first. And here's why. You're not going to be playing your supporter right now. Now, if you have a supporter in hand you want to play, then you need to play Pokegear at the start of your next turn. And that is because your deck is going to be short one more card. So, you're going to be guaranteed to draw 1 and then checking 7. Instead of just checking 7. So it's more like you're playing with 8 cards. And with that aspect, you're going to have a lot higher probability to get the card that you need. Or a card that you can use. So you want to use Pokegear 3.0 on the next turn, not now. There's also the concept of your opponent cycling your deck. With cards like Yono and Judge, it is quite possible that your supporter that you search for is going to get knocked. So, you've kind of wasted a card in that point. Now, you could use the Pokegear 3.0 to threaten something, such as if I pulled a boss's orders to showcase a boss's orders. See, now I have a lot likelier possibility to pull something good because I pulled the Clara. Now, I'd like to trash the Pal Pad, but I'm going to want to recycle the Clara and the boss's orders. Decent enough. We're going to Pal Pad right here. Pull up the Serena. I've got multiple. I can work with it. We're going to go here. We're going to go here. I thought that was a Mewtwo V-Star. I goofed up. Oh well, that happens. We're going to grab a Psychic Energy. We're going to end turn. Next turn, we're going to play Cycle Draw if we need to. Now, problem with Lost Box, Primarant is going to be able to hit hard against our Lunatone. But we'll be able to come back with our Mewtwo V if we need to. We'll use Transfer Break and move an energy to probably this Mewtwo V if we need to. We need to get the other Mewtwo sooner than later. But we needed the basic energy. So we did what was optimal in that situation. Pull up the Cram. Walrus Experiment. Walrus Experiment is not a bad card. You got a lot of interesting mechanics with that one. Lost Box is Lost Zone is an interesting mechanic that I keep seeing cards that utilize the Lost Zone but aren't seen because they don't do as well as Lost Box. If that makes sense. Question is, what do we want to take out? The Brute Bonnet's interesting. I don't think the Comfey is gonna matter as much, and I don't think Poison's gonna be dangerous. I don't know why Brute Bonnet's in there. So we're just gonna move Mewtwo up. I don't think we really need a boss's orders. We'll attach the basic Psychic Energy to Mewtwo V and then throw it to the other Mewtwo V. That's going to allow us to be a bit more consistent. They're selecting prize cards. I don't know why it's taking them so long. They don't know what their prize cards are, so it's not like they could be strategical with it. There are certain cards, old supporters, that allowed you to pick out what your prize cards were, but those just they don't appear as much anymore. We'll use the Mewtwo V's transfer break. We're gonna move it to Lunatone actually. Shoot, no, I don't know. I can't anticipate Lunatone surviving, so we're gonna move it to the Mewtwo V. Rescue Carrier was not a hit. We would have preferred one of our two Ionos. Quite unfortunate. It's the game. It happens. The nice thing about Lost Box is that whenever you're knocked out, you always have something to go into as well. You always want to open up with Comfey, and your deck is themed around switching around Comfey to just banish as much as possible. And so if something's knocked out and you have a Comfey on the bench, you already have options to switch into. See what they go with? I'm thinking that if I don't get anything good, Escape Rope. Oh shoot. We have the Rescue Carrier. We'll go into Lunatone. I wouldn't mind stacking it again. Well, I was gonna say, if I don't know what to go into, I might Mewtwo V retreat into the Lunatone, use the Solrock in order to attach a Psychic Energy from the retreat onto the Lunatone, cycle draw to draw 3 more cards. That's one of the nice things about these Lunatones, is that they can draw more. Just gotta wait for our opponent to make their moves. 13 cards in hand is pretty good. That's one of the nice things about Lost Box. You can just keep on drawing. They don't have any hitters, but they can easily pull into something. And the later you put your heavy hitter onto the bench, the less time your opponent has to make a plan. They decide to banish the boss's orders. They have the Slowbro for whatever reason. So they're combining Slowpoke and Slowbro for a true box experience. That's interesting. Mirage Gate, I don't know what he intends to hit. The Sableye makes sense. Just a single Psychic Energy. There's a lot that's going on that I don't understand. This is rough. Now I know I used Palpad on the boss's orders and a Serena, and I have 2 Leono in deck, so I have 3 cards that allow me to get some good draws. I got Pokestop, Pokegear 3.0. He bosses orders. Solrock. Solrock is not what I wanted to see hit. Palpad. Oh my goodness. This is unfortunate. There's nothing crazy for me to hit with Palpad. I'm gonna boss his orders to pull up the Brute Bonnet. They're gonna have to force out a switch, which they have plenty of options to do. But now they're down a switch cart. Now they're gonna be down an escape rope. Escape rope's gonna be nice for us to allow to retreat. Boss's orders is interesting because you can definitely use it offensively, but there's a lot of defensive potential with boss's orders. It really is a staple. Any deck you're gonna see, 99% of decks are gonna have boss's orders because forcing out something to the active slot is crucial. And decks that don't run boss's orders are running a super niche gimmick, or they have some other means of managing. Radiant Greninja's not bad. We're gonna bench it just to ensure that we have it in case he Yonos, which he's not. We're choked out super hard, so it doesn't make sense to Yono. Oh shoot. If we get the Psychic Energy, I think it's gonna be more important to attach to Solrock and retreat into Lunatone. I don't know what I want to trash. Where we at least have Rescue Carrier, we're in a fine spot. And they're turboing out pretty quick. If we play it right, we could definitely force a situation to where they deck out. And of course, a lot of decks have proximity prams. Anxiety plans. I forget what it's called, but they got plans prepared in order to set up a situation to prevent deck out. So a lot of times in Lost Box, I mean, you can see in the time I ran Lost Box, they ran, oh shoot, what was it called? Energy Recycler, because you need to recycle your energies, but it also helps prevent deck out. Yono helps with that. Super Rod. So he moves the Sableye up. He is going to have the ability to distribute damage. The question is, how is he going to distribute it? If he takes out the Solrock, that's a pretty good hit. But honestly, if I was him, I would just start hitting in Mewtwo V. Just dump it all in Mewtwo V. No, he goes for the Lunatone. He starts on the Radiant Greninja, so that's interesting. So we need something. We need... Oh my goodness. Good heavens. I don't want to retreat or forfeit or whatever, but this is not a good game. And this is the problem with this deck, is that I should not have bricked this hard. I have options. I got Pokestop. I got supporters to draw. I have trekking shoes. I've got cards that allow me to get out of situations like these. And it just so happened I got into one of the worst states I could. Now he's probably going to take out Greninja. I don't know what he's going to take out next. And I'm glad I didn't Palpad just yet because... Okay, he's going to start ramping onto the Mewtwo V. But my deck is thinner. I'm less likely to pull those cards, and those cards aren't good hits. The Mewtwo V-Star, we'll just evolve it to have it, but... Oh my goodness. End turn. I had no energy in there, 3 energy here, and 0 energy there. That means there's 9 energy in my deck. I should have hit an energy by now. This is actually insane. I also have the, what's it called? The, Fog Crystals. The Fog Crystal allows me to hit for an energy as well. And I have the Pokestop, which gives an increased chance of hitting for Fog Crystal. This truly has been an unlucky match. But, you know, that happens. It happens. And all we can do is take what we give us and try and manage as best as possible. And that's what you look at when you're deck building. If I had something on my bench to prevent, I would, but I just don't. Yeah, why not? Why not get another Solrock? I mean, it thins out the deck. We're technically down 2 cards, but we're in an ugly position. The game's done. No, he retreats. I'm curious on what his intentions are. They have 5 cards left in deck, so it's possible to win by deck out. He goes to Kofe, which is peculiar. I don't know why they retreated. Misplay, maybe? $19 cards in hand. If I get an Iono, I don't even know if I want a Iono. I'm sure they have means to keep the energy flow going, because Sableye is hitting hard, but... And they conceded. I don't know what went on. I guess we take those. Yeah, this deck has problems. We need to fix these up real quick. We're gonna cut down Solrock by 1. We're cutting down this Lunatone by 1. We're gonna cut out this Mewtwo right here with Limit Break, not Light Break. The 13 cards, that's all we need. We're just pocketing this Mewtwo EX. We don't need to run it. This Mewtwo is more of a counter strategy against VMAX. This is the core. This is the core. This is the core. These are just options. Psychic Energy, I'm almost considering running more. But you can see here, I'm running 4 Iono, and I had this Arena. The fact that that did not get drawn, it's insane to me. Okay, if I have to add some stuff, what I want to add is some more supporters. I want to add some more draw. Now, I can anticipate my Pokemon being knocked out, so Bruno is not a terrible option. But ultimately, I think I'm just going to double research. This is going to add some more supporter targets for the Pokegear 3.0. And let's hit. Actually, since it's Mewtwo, let's run an Oak for Mewtwo, and let's run a research because it's Pokemon Go. There we go. And I'm thinking I'm gonna run a soul copy of Super Rod. No, not that. That guy right there. And that's just in case a worst case scenario happens where I have to discard a lot. Soul copy of Super Rod. We should have a lot of better options. Arceus Sleeves, Arceus Box, Alolan Ninetales coin. Are we seeing an Alolan Ninetales deck? Alolan Ninetales is an interesting rogue deck that was used to counter Lugia V-Star. Interestingly enough. Well, not Ninetales, the Alolan Vulpix. There was no Alolan Ninetales card that I could think of. But yeah, this is just gonna be our last match. I can't really justify another one after this, but after a concede like that, that should have been a loss. That really should have. But hey, we take that. No hits on opening. We have quite a few basic Pokemon, so playing against Nefer TCG. Solrock and Mewtwo. I'll open up with the Mewtwo. If I have to trash him, I have to trash him. We got Hisui and Heavy Ball. We got Iono. Ultimately, this is a decent hand. This is a decent opener. The reflexive barrier really is an interesting mechanic. I don't know how to maximize the potential. Oh, we're playing United Wings. That's super interesting. I don't see United Wings as much. So I love to see it. So, for those who are not familiar with United Wings, it's Mad Party. But if you're not familiar with Mad Party, there's this move called United Wings that varies by the Pokemon on the cost, but Murkrow is the cheapest one. It does 20 damage for each of your Pokemon in your discard pile that has the United Wings attack. And there's about 4 different Pokemon that have the United Wings attack. So you could have upwards of 16 Pokemon in your discard pile that have United Wings, and you'll be able to get out a good amount of damage. And they vary in types, so there's a lot of ability or a potential for super effective damage. So United Wings is an interesting mechanic. I'm a fan. I love gimmicks like those. The issue is that they are often weak, and you have to get the cards into the discard pile. You look at what I just did right there. One of the core hitters in United Wings is going to be the Flamigo. And this is because this Flamigo has an ability called Instaflock, which is going to allow you to search your deck for up to 3 Flamigo, reveal them, put them in your hand, shuffle your deck. And it's on your bench, so you're reducing the amount of potential cards in the trash by 1 at the moment, but you do get to search out 2 more. Looks like he's pairing with a Kirlia engine. I always wanted to run a United Wings deck. I just never had the cards to support it. I mean, you look at the Murkrow as a common. I think the Flamigo's like an uncommon. So they're not expensive. If I get the coinage, I'll consider running one of those. We're also set up to Kirlia, so the Iono might have helped him, but it definitely did hurt, which is nice. Give researches, Watch Roll's one of them. Double colorless, so you just DTE, but you have electric advantage, which is a pretty good type since you're hitting 2 different types. I mean, you're hitting half of each type, but it's most of the time it's the half that matters. You're hitting flying types and you're hitting water. Switch. Okay, he's gonna get out some good damage with Instaflock or the United Wings. Right now he's got 60 minus 20, so he's at 40. Ultra Ball. Okay, so he's at Hundo, he's at 80. And the Mewtwo's gonna deal well against this because it's gonna punish the Flamigo and anything that uses United Wings. And since it's running Special Energy and DTE, it's going to definitely hurt them. Question is, do I Iono? Let's Hisui and Heavy Ball. We got double, triple, 4 Psychic Energies in the prize cards. Unfortunate. Hisui and Heavy Ball and a Nest Ball. We can work with that. I think I'm just gonna drop a research. We got means of getting the Solrock back. What we need was the basic Psychic Energy. And we're getting Nest Ball to search up Greninja. We're gonna Pokestop. Hopefully we can trash some Psychic Energy just to get the Lunatone train rolling. No hits. We'll pick up a Psychic Energy. What's in trash? Triple Iono and a Serena. We're gonna Pal Pad to pick up the Iono. Yeah. And I forgot we just picked the Greninja. Yeah, we'll be able to do that. And hit the Lunatone with a Psychic Energy. And next turn, if Mewtwo is knocked out, we're going to be able to get some good damage, kill off on the Murkrow or Flamigo, whoever they send out with the Lunatone. So it's almost justifiable to run a third Solrock on the bench for a situation like this. However, we're gonna have to get something taken out of here. Because if the if the Mewtwo dies, we could throw in the third Solrock. Yeah. And then the next turn, as long as we get a Psychic Energy, we can retreat into the Lunatone that's in our hand. And we have the Rescue Carrier for the Lunatone. We're in a really good spot right now. We're giving one in exchange for one. But we do have Pokemon with higher HP thresholds. Okay, this is a problem. We'll trash the Greninja. I think we can get by without him for now. Iono's not the greatest situation for us, but it's manageable. It's manageable. The Psychic Energy in hand doesn't hurt. We're getting Trekking Shoes, hopefully to pick up a Pokestop. Now, there is a Ditto from, this is Crown Zenith, as you can tell by right here. But it allows it to use the attacks of any basic Pokemon without a rule box. You still need to pay the energy, but that's really good for this kind of deck due to having a basic Pokemon like Murkrow of United Rings. You can get your United Wings damage out even more. The Flamigo just barely survives. Super unfortunate. We'll be able to start ramping up our Mewtwo Veto. We're just going to start by setting up the Solrock. We're weak to dark. We're in a tough position. Let's Trekking Shoes. Boss's Orders is weird. I don't want to, but I want to as well. I'm going to say no. Yeah. Pokegear. We'll pick up Clara. And we'll pick up the Solrock and the Mewtwo. Not the Greninja. We'll pick up the Greninja. We're gonna be able to just keep on trashing more. Yeah. This is why. We have Rescue Carrier. If we didn't have the potential to do so, well, now we do. Next turn we can Iono pretty safely. Let's Pokestop. Might as well do it while we can. Triple hit, unfortunate. We're gonna need Boss's Orders more than anything else in this game state. And we'll just Moon Kinesis, knock it out. Nest Ball, not one of the hits. I would have rather had one of the 4 Psychic Energies that's in there. It's alright, we can manage. We have 4 Psychic Energies in the prize cards. We have 4 attached. We have 1 in the discard. That means we have 3 Psychic Energies remaining in the trash. Another Murkrow gone. We're gonna need to get our V-Star out sooner than later. But we're gonna move the Mewtwo V up. The Murkrow is scary for the situation of the dark type advantage. It's gonna be able to do a lot. Now, evolving to Gallade, I presume he's going for the Professor's Research, force out the Mewtwo V. Yeah, did I say research? I meant Boss's Orders. But get the Mewtwo V out and pretty easy knockout. That's gonna put him ahead on the prize cards. Unfortunate. We can manage. We're just gonna Nest Ball, pick up a second Lunatone. Mewtwo. Where I have Fog Crystal, I can justify a Mewtwo much more than I can justify a Lunatone. And we're getting Yono. We can work with Moon Press Lunatone. It's very manageable. We're just gonna Trekking Shoes. We don't need this anymore. Ideally, pull something good. Yeah. See, Psychic Energy hit for the Mewtwo EX. We don't really need a hit with the Solrocks. Moon Kinesis, just take a kill. Now we have a 4 out of 5 or 80% chance of hitting a Psychic Energy. We just gotta hope this is it. Yes, we did. We're gonna be able to move the Mewtwo up next turn and start ramping up damage with the Lunatone. But it would be more optimal to save our Mewtwo EX for the very end game, to where he only has a singular prize card remaining. Let's see what this Ditto is gonna do. They have 2 and 4 and 3. This is gonna put it to 9. 180 damage on the United Wings. They can't one-tap Mewtwo EX just yet, but they're at 180. This would push to 200, and this would push to 220. If they have the ability to get the second Flamigo and the Wattrel into the trash, then they are going to be able to get it. Quite a tricky situation. I think we're just gonna have to go Mewtwo for this turn. We'll Trekking Shoes. Perhaps we can get a hit. We're gonna need the Psychic Energy. See, this is what I want. I wanted the Rescue Carrier. I would have rather start ramping onto this Lunatone, since we could manage to go Glade with it. Or another Flamigo if he gets the Flamigo going. And the question does become, do we Iono? And I think that is going to be the case. We're getting Iono. We're shutting down the hand potential. We got to make more risky sacrifices. We'll Fog Crystal to thin the deck out. We'll take the Psychic Energy. Did I trash my Super Rod? No, and I don't think it's a part of my prize cards. Plus, once we take this prize card, we're going to be able to justify the Mewtwo EX retreat even more so. Well, not that one, but now we are guaranteed to hit a Psychic Energy. Move the Ralts up. I'm curious on where they intend to go. Now, I think they're running Mono Dark Energies. That happens to be... No, they have DTE, but they're probably not running Psychic Energy. Trash the Flamigo. They need another Ditto for that max potential as well. Buddy Catch. I can retreat safely if anything. No, they go for the Zinnia's Resolve. This allows them to draw 6 at the trash of 2. They bench the Wattrel. This is still going to be fine for us due to the fact that we could tank out a DTE hit on the Wattrel. Assylian Heavy Ball pulls the Flamigo. Rescue Carrier is an interesting move. They're probably going for the Ditto, if I was to make a prediction. He only has 1 Ditto. Sets up the Ditto. Ultra Ball. Flamigo doesn't have to Wattrel in the trash. Picks up another Ditto. Do they decide to retreat? Do they have the means to retreat? DT on the Wattrel. Switch. They're going in with the Wattrel. That's quite peculiar. United Wings. Not enough to kill just yet. We're going to retreat. Move that up. If he has like a... It's too late in the game for Counter Catcher, but if he does have the means of managing out a boss's orders, then we're in a tricky bit of situation. I think ultimately the game's over at this point, but the game has been much too fun for me to want to just leave at this point. I want to rack up some serious damage with Lunatone. And I could have done this last turn, I believe. But we're going to hit for 210. I can't afford to leave the watch roll unchecked. We're going to be able to hit a psychic energy. Ideally, they whiff. They don't have the dark energy in hand. Let's see what they can do. Refinement. They're trashing a Clara. That's interesting. I would have used a Clara to pull some stuff up, then guarantee to hit with the dark energy. That's an interesting move. Research. Absolute misplay. This person could have won. This person could have won. They definitely could have. If they Clara'd, pull up 2 dark energy, they could have Ditto, kill here, go down to 1 prize card. I would have had to kill his Ditto with my Mewtwo EX. 1 prize card. He'd be able to put the 2nd dark energy on the Ditto, finish up the game. So, absolute misplay. Quite unfortunate on their end. But that's showbiz. That's what happens. We're just gonna make this Lunatone as stocky as possible to finish up the game. And oh no, he has 2 cards in his hand. He must have played like a pal pad. Yes, he did. Peculiar. So we're gonna Moon Kinesis. But again, the game was won at that point. They should not have done that. Now they're gonna draw 1. They're gonna Curly Refinement to draw the other one, I believe. I presume they tried for the Clara. Yeah, I don't see the Clara in here. So they definitely recycled the Clara. But they can't Clara and boss's orders. Unless they're running Counter Catcher. I haven't seen any sign of that in the deck so far though. Yeah, there's no Counter Catcher. And there's no what's it called? The switching one from Fusion Strike that allows you to switch your opponent. The game's over. If they'd used a Clara last turn, they had a game. But they did not. They gave me the possibility to win, and so win I will. I don't even need to hit with the Mewtwo EX, but we're going to. Well, I mean, stack up the Lunatone for the Mewtwo EX hit. He was doing a 70 minimum. And we're going to finish it by doing 160 with Photon Kinesis and win the game. And I think that was a quite pleasant match. So does this deck hold up? I don't think so. I think it's a bit too slow for what we see in this current age of TCG Live. However, I find that it is still fun. And if Mewtwo is one of your favorite Pokemon, then this is a pretty fun deck. Mewtwo and his master. If you are at a place with a lot of Pokemon Go fodder, then this is pretty manageable to get. Because this is Pokemon Go, this is Pokemon Go, this Mewtwo V is from Pokemon Go, and if you attained the Elite Trainer box, they gave out a Mewtwo V promo, which is this card, which looks super nice, and it's going to be a lot cheaper to obtain. This Mewtwo V stars from Pokemon Go, and it does make the deck a bit more expensive due to its rarity. However, the deck can be managed without the Mewtwo V star. But you're probably going to want to pull the Mewtwo V out and just run a different Psychic primary attacker. It's just that Mewtwo V star works well with it. Really, the Lunatone Solrock core is decent enough to manage. This Mewtwo is from 151. It is a rare, but it's not as crazy as you would expect. So I'm sure it would be cheap. This Mewtwo EX is just a pocket in case you're fighting against something weak to electric. Radiant Greninja is going to be a more expensive card, but if you have it, you have it. And this Lunatone is from Obsidian Flames, and again, it's just a pocket in case stadiums are becoming a pain. Overall, that is Mewtwo and his master in Lunatone and Solrock. So I hope you all enjoyed watching. If you like what you have seen today, or if you want to see a specific deck be played, have any suggestions for the channel, please let me know, and have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.